Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Quirky Dorks podcast, and it is Sunday, March 21st, 2021, and I am back again with Fiel Wilson. How are
Yes,
you doing?
sir.
How are you doing today, Fiel?
I'm doing good, and yourself?
you know, you know how many times uh, because when you were over for my birthday last year, no, 2 years
Mm.
ago, how much my parents call us old, man.
My parents do the same thing. They say that I've been here before. They say it all the time. They always say that I've been here before.
Boy, child, you know you've been here before.
And it's crazy because like one of my favorite artists is Chuck Berry, and he's a singer back in the '50s. And my parents weren't even around then, so it's crazy. So they be like, "How do you know about Chuck Berry?" I don't even know about Chuck Berry. It's like I don't know. It's that's my guy.
It's like, what made me think of that is like my sis called out us being old. My sister listened to the podcast, and she was like, both of y'all sound like two old men talking about stuff. Hearing us talk
That
about complaining about like things that people do in our family, it's like, hey, you know.
honestly, that sounds pretty accurate.
Oh my gosh. But speaking of that, and like going into like they see us as old. Like how do you view yourself, Theo? Like personally, like how do you like when you think about Theo? What do you think of like your own personal image?
Um, I view myself. I mean, I would say I'm a cool person. I mean, yeah, I would say I'm a cool person. As I talked about in the last episode, I've definitely grown a lot um over the years. So the way I would view myself um 3 4 years ago is a complete 180 than a way I would view myself now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I felt like back then I would view myself as an angry person, just a hostile, I would kind of say, person back then because I was always angry and into fights. But I would say now, I would say I'm just a cool, laid back person. I don't like to get into too much drama. And when there's drama spotted, I try to quickly turn away because I'm not really trying to get into that. I like to, you know, um, dig myself into a whole lot of activities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I was to do a week in my life, it would be about an hour long because like my schedule is just really really hectic, and that's just the way I like to live my life. I like to live my life just really really hard and pushing myself. I have this saying that I keep up on my wall, which is really 50 Cent saying. He said, "I'm gonna get rich or die trying," right?
Yeah.
And and I heard that I heard that, and I said for me, I'm gonna say the same thing, but I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna accomplish everything I say I'm gonna do, everything I want to accomplish, or I'm gonna die trying. So I said one day I want to make it to the Olympics, and I want to win a gold medal. And I'm gonna do that, or I'm gonna die trying to do that.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, they like my parents. They say, hey, you need to take a break. It's like I'm gonna take a break when I can see the finish line. I can't see the finish line yet. I'm gonna take a break when I'm almost there. I'll slow down when I'm almost there. But I'm a hard worker. I'm always laughing. I'm always trying to get people to laugh. I hate drama, and I'm just a real laid back person. Is the way I would kind of view myself.
Yeah. I like how you changed the quote for yourself too. Cause I was gonna my follow up to that is like, do you agree with the "get rich or die trying" statement?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean that was his goal. His goal was to get rich. I mean, and that's the same as me. It's like My goal ain't to get rich, but my goal, is to one day make to the Olympics. My goal is to one day make a huge impact on the world, like MLK and all these other
Okay.
innovators. Like that's my goal, and I'm going to do that, or I'm going to die trying. And so it's like it's not really a thing of when are you gonna slow down. It's like all the racism and stuff in the world is never gonna slow down. You know, me making it to the Olympics, all these swimmers out here who have dreams of going to the Olympics, they're not gonna slow down on accomplishing their dreams. So why should I? I have to work 10 times as hard to be able to accomplish these things, especially with the society that we're living in today,
Yeah.
especially with um, just everything. You have to work 10 times as hard. So no, I'm not gonna give up until that goal of mine is accomplished. And even then, I was talking to my dad the other day, and even then, I'm gonna still be working harder. I'm never gonna be satisfied with where I'm at. I'm always gonna be trying to push myself another step forward. So, I made it to the Olympics. Okay, well, maybe my next goal is to win more medals than Michael Phelps. And
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like honestly, this goes to anybody when you set that type of mindset, like be happy and celebrate some of the small things and things like that. Definitely do that, but never be satisfied with where you're at, because when you satisfied, you feel that, oh, I'm satisfied. Okay, I can take a rest. No, you can't. Like you can take a 2-second rest, but you got to get back on the grind, or you are never going to remain the best. I mean, the goal for whatever you do is to be the best, whether that's in
Mm,
sports,
Feel, I
in
don't know. You think the goal of everything is to be the best
I wouldn't.
in
What I
everything?
what I mean by that is when you set your mind to something. Like, for example, give me something that you're really really passionate about.
Like, okay, like give an example. Like, I don't know, like playing guitar.
Playing guitar. That could be a really good example. If that's your dream, if that's your goal, it's like you want to be you don't want to just like if your dream is to play guitar, you don't want to leave the world and you're just playing guitar as a hobby. Like if your dream is to play guitar, you don't want to leave the world and no one knows who you are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I
So
think it depends on people's personal goals too with like doing that. And
yeah, it's definitely that. But I feel like the main thing is what I'm saying. Like it take like me, my goal is for swimming. My goal is to make it to the Olympics for swimming. What's the point of me, really, really working hard? Take this. What's the point of me working real, real hard in swimming if I don't really plan on going nowhere in swimming? You know what I'm saying?
I see what you mean, but I think what I was gonna my caveat to that is that I think sometimes that idea of not being satisfied can be a double-edged sword. And I do know what you mean when you say that if you get I think comfortable may be a better word than satisfied, because getting
Yeah.
comfortable is the idea of that. I've made it here. I've done everything I'm going to accomplish. I don't want to be better than where I'm at. Whereas I think being satisfied where you're at, you can where you're at in life and what you're doing as long as you're working towards what you want to do. And it doesn't have to have an over end goal of being the best. I think the idea sometimes of like when it comes to being the best at something, there isn't. I think different people have different trade offs of being able to do different things. Like the example of being a guitar player or being a swimmer. You can be an
Mhm.
amazing like freestyle swimmer and be able to swim 100 lengths, do the 500, and be able to swim long distance, but you may not be the best like uh, breaststroke
Butterfly.
swimmer
Yeah, that
overall.
makes sense. Yeah,
And
that makes sense.
like being able to be satisfied with what you do. I know that where I'm at in my guitar playing is not going to be the like my best level for playing guitar. But where I'm at now, I can look back and realize, okay, I've been playing for 3 years. When I first started playing, I wasn't able to make a C chord or wasn't able to form a G chord. But now I can kind of solo a bit. I can riff. I can listen to songs and be able to play it. I'm at a place now where I know I can do better. Always, I have the idea of I'm gonna develop my craft and get better at it. But also, I'm also at a place where I'm able to look at what I've done and be able to say, okay, I'm satisfied to where I've accomplished a lot, and I'm thankful for the things that I've been able to do in that skill.
Yeah, but yeah, okay, I would say that it's different for everybody. I would say just for me though, I'm never satisfied with where I'm at. And what I mean by that is like with all my dreams and aspirations, like me planning on changing the world, there's always going to be a problem that's going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
With rather that's what's going on in the Asian community, what's going on in the Black community, what's going on in the LGBTQ plus community, what's going on every different what's going on in the world. There's always going to be a problem, and I'm going to be happy when I'm able to make a difference. When I'm able to make a difference, I'm happy, but I'm not satisfied because in my definition of satisfied, meaning let's take I will be satisfied once I break the world record for a 53. Then I'm satisfied because that's something that's never be done and I'm satisfied with myself. But in the aspect of trying to change the world, there's always going to be something that needs to be addressed. And I'm never going to be satisfied until the this world is a better place for everyone to live in. That's mainly the way I look at things when I say I'm never going to be satisfied with my work.
So, um, so with that, it's like this idea of you. There's always a bigger overarching goal of what needs to be done, and
Yeah, there's always a bigger goal of what of you doing something. I don't know if you have you ever heard of the comedian called named Gabriel Iglesias?
yeah, come on now. Have you
Okay.
ever heard of this big giant comedian who's all over everywhere?
Okay, well, yeah, he once said that he's never comfortable with where he's at, and he's always trying to do bigger and better things. He played Madison Square Garden. Now what's the step up to that? Once you have take me for example, once I've won gold, what's the step up to winning a gold medal in the Olympics? Okay, well maybe I want to break the world record for a 50 freestyle. Okay, and once I've done that, what's even bigger than that? And so the way the way the way I constantly am motivated to keep pushing forward is I'm always have a goal, because once you become satisfied that you've accomplished this certain thing, you don't have a goal in place. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but let me ask you this with that though. Let's say, with the example, still keeping with the example of swimming. If you've been swimming for like 3 years, like not 3 years, let's say you've been swimming for like 6, 7 years, right? You've been doing it for a while. You swim competitively, and you haven't made it to Olympic level, but you're a really talented swimmer. Like you're up there, your numbers are good, but you just haven't had like the right opportunities and environment to make it to the Olympics.
Right.
Despite though, even at that point, like you're still working at that point, would you say you'd at least be satisfied with how far you've come in the swimming, even though you
Yeah,
know that hey, there's still an opportunity for me to make it to the Olympics. I'm going to keep
definitely.
trying at
You
that.
become I'm sorry, but definitely you become satisfied with the achievements and accomplishments that you've made, because I am definitely satisfied with myself because at the end of this season I took a huge break. I took like a huge break from swimming. Almost 3 years, 2.5 years off of swimming. I got back in the pool, and I was just horrible, right? And at the beginning of the season for a 53, I was sitting up here at like 40 seconds for a 50 freestyle. I was very disappointed in myself. I was very satisfied in myself when I was able to make 35, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then at the end of the season, I was very satisfied when I was able to make 32 seconds. But what I'm saying by that never being satisfied is be satisfied with with the little small accomplishments that you make, but never be satisfied to the point where you feel like there's nothing else that you need to do. There's
Okay.
always something else that you can be doing to be trying to better yourself. Regardless if you want to be the best or not, try to better yourself, right?
Yeah.
Right. Try to better yourself. So, like I said, I was at 40 seconds. Then I dropped 5 seconds. Then I was at 35 seconds. At the end of the season, I made 32 seconds. And just recently, I was able to make 29 seconds. You know what I'm saying? So I am very, very satisfied that I've made those that I made those improvements in the span of like 2 months. But I'm not satisfied to the point where I'm ready to say, okay, well now I can stop. I can slack. I can, I can stop working as hard. I still need to work as hard because I know that I'm not done. There is still more that I can do.
Yeah. I think that is something that is you have to work towards it. But
Right.
people also, I feel like that can be a double. It's just that. I mean, I feel like with people saying that you need to work hard, it can be misconstrued as, or misinterpreted rather, as people never giving themselves a break when they are
Yeah.
working towards something. Because I feel like a lot of the times people can get locked in the mindset of just, I need to work. Why am I gotta keep on working at this thing? And if I'm not working at this thing, then I'm feeling like I could be doing something else productive. And you get in this state of like not really being, it's like an unhappiness of not being able to do enough towards what you want to do. And
Mm.
it's like the reverse effect of being able to work hard and have that satisfied mentality. I'm not saying it's with the example you gave. I think that's a great example, but people do
Actually, I
need.
can.
Hmm?
No, you. What were you saying?
I think people also do need to allow themselves to acknowledge, if I'm tired this day, I can take this day to be tired. But just know that
Definitely.
tomorrow I'm gonna work at it and make up for this day. This day was a resting period to get me energized to
Mm-hmm.
keep moving forward.
Definitely. I got two different examples. All right. So, two examples. You definitely want to give yourself a break. For example, the first example is basically take your muscles, right? When
Mm-hmm.
you exercise, right? Let's say you exercise 5, 6 days a week, right? You exercise, right? Eventually, your body is gonna feel drained, right?
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, you're gonna feel real weak, right? Because you haven't taken time for yourself. So definitely take time for yourself because you need to give your body a chance to rest. You need to give yourself a chance to reflect, right? And figure out what's next, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you taking a rest, don't take that rest as a chance to slack. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, for example, like even like let's say weight loss, right? If you ever watch those like my 600 pound life, they're like, oh, I've lost. No, but it's a great example though. Oh, they be like, oh, I've lost, this this many pounds. Now I can slack, right? They slack. They get back to the doctor's office. They check their weight, and they just gained all that weight back,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you don't slack, right? You
Yeah.
have to keep you have to keep working on it, but you just taking a rest. You're not working hard to the point where you're killing yourself, but you don't slack, right? With you on a weight loss journey, you take that rest to you know take time for yourself, but you don't. That one day you don't get to eating cheesecakes, three cheesecakes a day. No, because then you just gonna put on all the weight you just lost.
Well,
Does that make sense?
yeah, but I think this can tie into. There's two things with that example. I think that's a great example to talk about because for one, those TLC shows like My 600 Pound Life are only there to serve as like shock value to the viewer.
True.
When you watch those shows, you're like, oh my god, they are so big. Oh, they can't even get out of bed. It's like, come on now. And then these people's lives are aired out on national television. And I think a lot of the times with these shows, they just teach them how to lose weight. They don't find the root of the problem. I think when
Right.
people are working hard at something, you need to have a good support group around you as well. You have to have a friend or a family member or someone you work with, anybody to help
Mm.
you through accomplishing your goals as well. Hard work
Yeah.
doesn't mean just doing it by yourself, and I think a lot of people could fall into that trap of just thinking, I worked hard and I got worked for everything by myself. No, you didn't. Somebody
Right.
taught you the things you know how to do. Somebody either provided you with the tools you needed to get to where you are. And with the example of those TLC shows, people don't find the root of the problem with them and are there to help them work through it. Yeah, they help them lose weight 200-300 pounds from that, but why do people blow it back up again? They're not given permanent solutions. They give fad diets, or they're not helping like the mental problems that go with it too. A lot of the
Yeah.
times, the people who are overweight like that, those people have like mental problems with stuff that happened in their childhood. They had a situation or a death in the family. They're depressed. They don't have the tools they needed. There's always some bigger underlining problem to why they're in the situation that they're in. And I think
Mm.
when it comes to people trying to accomplish the goals that they want to, it's reasons like that that can sometimes prevent people. And I think having that outside environment can help people accomplish their goals and give them motivation to work harder toward them as well.
Yeah. That's real big. That's really big.
Was it too
It
much? No, I'm kidding though.
no, it's crazy because it just gave me a different way to look at it.
Yeah. So would you say like sometimes you fall into that trap of just I need to work hard by myself?
Um, at times,
It's a
yeah.
safe space for y'all.
Uh, at times, yeah, I do. When like in the swimming journey of mine, taking 2 years off, and gaining all this weight, mm, yeah, I felt like everybody was against me, right? I felt like all my teammates were against me. At a point, I even felt like my coach was against me just because I was always falling behind.
Mhm.
And so I always felt like it was all me, and I couldn't rely on anybody else.
Yeah.
As further as the season progressed, I realized that it wasn't all me. I realized that I actually had a family here, and I needed to be able to rely on other people.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, they a lot of times say, "Oh yeah, I work alone." And that's fine, working alone, but be able to take criticism, be able to ask for help. Never feel like you're too good or too ashamed to ask for help, because whenever there's a great player, there's an even better coach. No matter who it is, whether you're the greatest singer in the world, arguably Michael Jackson, or you're the greatest basketball player in the world, arguably Michael Jordan or LeBron James, whoever you are, Michael Phelps, whoever you are, you can be the best at whatever you are. But there's a reason you became the best. And it's because you had someone there to help make you the best. You didn't become the best on your own. And anybody who says, "Oh yeah, it was all me," they're a lie.
Mhm.
You never become the best on your own. You always have someone there to help you become the best, whether it's mentally, rather whatever it is, even if it's just extra motivation to keep you working hard, right? Even if it's not actually helping you progress your skills, but it's just keeping your head on straight, it's still a big motivation to making you who you are today. You know what I'm
Mhm. And
saying?
like
Right.
going with that, you've also did that with the swim season too. I know you'd reach out and be like, "Yo, I just swam this event. I'm getting ready to swim this event." I'm like, "Yo, you getting ready to swim this event? Let's get it." It's like
Yeah.
I'm not even. able to be on your swim team because of we go to different schools, but still you use that resource like, hey, shit, I'm getting ready to do this, or I'm writing a workout plan. What things can like tips or like being able to write that and adjust that? It's like you're
Yeah.
still using those.
I remember. You remember I had the 100 back event, and I'm not the greatest at back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's a 100, I feel like I'm gonna kill myself, right? And so when you and so like me able to just reach out to you, rather it was for advice in swimming alone, or rather it was just extra motivation. That extra motivation kept me moving forward. Kept those words of wisdom of you and my cousin, who are also called after you. Those extra words of motivation kept spiraling through my head, and those were the biggest things that kept me moving forward.
Yeah, and it's paying off now. You're getting ready to go into lifeguard training now, which
Yeah, lifeguard training.
you are in lifeguard
Yeah,
training rather. How's that
yeah,
going
I
for
am.
you?
Ooh, you already know it's something. You already know it's something when they started off like that. It's going good. It's going okay. I mean, I wouldn't say this is necessarily a problem, but I don't know. I sometimes don't feel comfortable there just because I'm the only black person there. So I don't know. It just sometimes it's just I just feel real uncomfortable.
I mean, Phil, but that's a natural thing when it comes to swimming with us.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I
I'm
don't know.
kidding though. I know what you mean.
It's just sometimes really uncomfortable. Me just sometimes I just feel alone there. Even though I'm not, I don't have nothing against white people, but I mean, I guess this is definitely a learning experience. I've always been around, always my people or people from mixed cultures. But
Mm.
at some point, there was at least, a few black people in the room. But in this point, it's not that. So I don't know. I just kind of feel um, alone
Is
per
it a
se. Like,
is it a feeling of being alone, or is it a feeling like you're being like it's not a safe environment, or is it just like, oh, there's no black people? I kind of feel out of place.
yeah, basically that. I feel it's not like that it's not a safe environment. It's just I just feel like I don't fit in, kinda, or I just like
That us
I don't
versus them
know.
feeling.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know why that's my mindset. And honestly, I hate that that's my mindset because I hate and I'm ashamed that that is my mindset. But when I walk into that place and everybody around me is white and I'm the only black person there, it's like wow, like I don't know, I just don't feel welcomed, I guess you say.
Oh yeah, but I know there's a reason why. I think a lot of black people feel that way too, because like systemically, that feeling of like us versus them, and it's
Yeah,
still kind of there in some areas. But I do know what you mean of like not hating to have that feeling of like, why can't I just be the only black person, and have it be fine, and not have it be like, oh, I'm the only black person.
mm, yeah, yeah. It sometimes feel like I walk into the place and everybody look at me like it's a shock that I'm there.
See, now that's the distinction though. That's what I was like bringing up when I said like it's like a hostile environment. Not that
But,
it's like,
okay,
not that it's like directly like you're in danger. Like, oh, what are you doing here?
okay, yeah,
If it's that feeling,
yeah.
then I know exactly what you're talking about.
Then yeah, but I sometimes feel like I walk into the place, everybody, they look at me. I don't know why I'm always late, but I am. But I walk in late, everybody they just immediately look at me, and I don't know, and then everybody they get to talking about swimming and stuff like that, and then I remember this one time, which was actually yesterday. Um, wasn't a racist moment or anything like that, but um, they was like, oh yeah, introduce yourself. We was in this group, and it was like, and it was about five of us in each group, and I was in one group, and like I said, I was the only black person there. So they was like, introduce yourselves, and everybody was like, okay, yeah, I'm blah blah blah, I go to this blah 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 school, and I'm on the swim team. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm Fiel, I'm 17, I go to HF, and I'm on the swim team and I play water polo.
Hmm.
And they like, oh really? And I'm like, yeah, like why does that come as a shock to you?
uh, you know what it's like? It's that it's not even like it's racist. Like the idea of it is, but it's not like they're directly trying to be. It's that it's ignorance at that point. It's like,
Yeah, I feel
oh,
like
huh,
it's just
I didn't
real
know
stupid.
you people swam.
Oh, it was just real stupid. It was just real stupid of him to say that because it was like I walked in, and like this is lifeguard training. If like you're gonna be doing lifeguard, of course you need to know how to swim. So it's not like necessarily that I have to be on the swim team, but it was like, oh yeah, I'm Fiel Wilson, and I've been swimming for about 11 going on 12 years now.
Whew.
Real for real? Dang, I didn't know that.
You know what it is? I think it's two things. Not only are you black, but you also intimidated them by that because you probably are probably experienced in a lot of those other people as well. So it's
Yeah,
two things. Because I think a lot of those people are those same age, and they might be in my situation where they just started swimming in like middle school, like seventh, eighth grade, and you've been doing it a lot longer than them, and you're on the swim team and do it competitively. You're gonna be a stronger swimmer than they are. And I think some
yeah,
people, not only you're black, it's like, wow, he's black, he's breaking the stereotype, and he's better than me. It kind of puts people in a uncomfortable situation for some white people. I'm not justifying that it's all right, but for them it is shocking.
yeah. I mean, it's whatever. I mean, um, honestly, I'll say this: it ain't the first time that it's happened. I've been on a swim team before where there was only two black people on the team, and whenever we made a mistake, they always looked at us like, oh, of course they made that mistake. So like I
Oh
remember one
yeah.
time. I remember one time. I told you this before. I suck at butterfly. I hate butterfly. So I remember one time I'm at this swim competition, right? And I got disqualified in this event. It was a 100 fly.
Mm-hmm.
I got disqualified for doing a breaststroke kick and touching the lane line. I didn't like really touch the lane line. More so, I got real close to the lane line,
It's
and
that
my
stupid
hand.
like penalty stuff.
Yeah, that little stupid penalty stuff. I got the lane line, and I could just see everybody just judging me like, oh, of course, he got eliminated for swimming. It's not something that I'm used to it by now, but it's I hate that this is the reality of it.
Yeah.
You know.
I think it also adds extra layer of why you have to be really good at swimming too. Because definitely
Yeah.
a lot of the times when I'm at certain swim meets, I'm thinking, okay, I'm like, there's only two other black people. I gotta outswim these other people, or they're gonna think because I'm. It's that back. Always in like the back of your mind, like they're probably thinking I'm not doing well because I'm black. So I gotta. It's.
Yeah.
It's like
It
it
sure
adds
does.
another like unneeded stress factor to it. It's like, oh, now I gotta prove again on top of just trying to swim.
It's always like you always feel like you got to prove yourself.
Um, I guess too. But I'm trying to move away from that because what does it really matter? I'm already breaking the
Yeah.
stereotype
By just getting in the pool and
by
swimming.
getting in the pool and knowing how to swim and
Exactly.
swimming. And it's part of me is like, who really cares? I'm trying to move away from just stuff like that. The people who do think like that and do want to educate themselves genuinely are ignorant to those things. And it
Yeah.
takes people meeting different people for them to be educated and not think that way. However,
Mhm.
being on the other side of it, it doesn't feel good. I'd rather not be in that situation, but
Yeah.
hey, part of being a black seal.
Well, I actually have a question for you because we've touched on me, but how do you view yourself?
You see, now we're getting into some deep water, Fiel. um, genuinely, like I think I see myself with like I acknowledge that I'm able to do a lot of things in terms of like art or swimming, and like last year I was making cookies for the school and I was working a lot. Or there's things towards acting, VL, I've done a few productions like that. And I'm seeing the work that I put in and the talents that I have go to good use. But I feel like a lot of the times I do struggle with that my self image of being able to acknowledge those things of how far I've come with doing it. Um, I've gotten better with my self esteem, but I still have a lot of days where I'm like, oh, well, I woke up this morning, I didn't run, I'm just getting bigger. it's like, why do I need to have that thought? I were like ran the whole week beforehand, and the one day I like cheat or run, it's like, well, this is going down a destructive path. It's like I can't, not that I can't, but I definitely do struggle with being able to acknowledge the productive things that I've done. Because the example that we gave earlier, talking about falling into that trap, I do that a lot. Of
Mm-hmm.
falling into that trap of I'm not satisfied with where I'm at, and also I'm not looking at the accomplishments that I've made toward the things. It's like I always think that my work isn't good enough, or that the time that I'm putting towards it, or times taking a rest towards my work, is like I'm wasting time. I should be doing more, or like there's always another need to do more towards what I want to do. Um, and I don't know. It's a battle I've like been struggling with. I think probably since middle school, but it's gotten better. I'm like doing different methods. I have like a gratitude part. I have this journal feel. It's I've gotten into bullet journaling. Have you heard of that feel?
No, I actually haven't.
It's like a thing where you're able to track the different things that you're going through. Like you can track your sleeping patterns. You can track your like stressful days, how you're eating, and then while also being able to plan and organize your week and track like your mood. I've been trying to use that to gauge like why am I feeling this way? Is it because I'm stressed and didn't have enough sleep? Okay. Why am I like not satisfied with this thing? Well, and I have a gratitude section in my journal, bullet journal too, and I'm able to look at that and say, okay, I may not be happy with what I'm doing now, but what accomplishments did I make this week? I'm like, okay, I read
Mm.
a chapter in this book. I read a magazine on how to do this for self improvement, and I started implementing that into my day. I'm trying to look towards things I can change like every day, that small, minute task that overall improve my like self image and how I view myself. Um, it's weird though. Feel honestly, I have days where I'm like really like, oh, this is I'm feeling myself today. I did this, and then the next day it's like, well, I don't have anything going right now. I should be doing this, and I'm not. It's cyclical. You're always gonna have. I think for the most part, with some people, you're always gonna have days where bad days. But for me, I'm just trying to find the line of being able to have balance in my life, of
Mm-hmm.
being able to see what I have and be grateful for those things, while also acknowledging who I am as a person and being comfortable with myself. I find that really challenging. I don't know if you do you have like issues with like your self image or self esteem rather? Because I know you said
Yeah,
you're always see
definitely.
yourself as working towards like always having that mindset of I have to keep um, pushing that past that. You're satisfied, but you can keep having the motivation to go forward.
Yeah.
I guess my question for you is like, how do you do that? Like, how do you keep moving towards that? And then, what's your like relationship with your self esteem?
Uh. So the first question was, how do I keep moving forward? You said.
Mm-hmm.
I think just that extra drive of love that I have in whatever I do. Um. For me, swimming is, ever since I got back into swimming, it's my life now. Whenever I'm not in the pool, all I want to do is be back in the pool. And
Mm-hmm.
I have that mindset. I love swimming. It's literally my entire life. I don't know what I would be doing right now, if I wasn't in swimming. So it's just something I really, really love. That keeps me moving forward because it's something I really, really love. So I always know that, it's something better that I can be doing. I'm always watching clips of the Olympics, of groundbreaking stories,
Mm-hmm.
Michael Phelps when he won like 8 gold medals, in the span of one Olympic Games. Like that was, I believe it was 8 or 12, but that was like a monument. That was really a big moment, right?
Yeah.
Um, I forgot what the swimmer's name was, but he broke the 53 record with 17 seconds. That's a huge moment. And right, and so for me, it's like, wow, I cannot believe they did those things. So what can I do so I can one day be like them? Because those are like my idols. Those are the people who I look up to with all those different things. It's something I love. When it comes to changing the world, it's something I love. I love America. I love the country that I live
America.
in, and
Fuck yeah.
I love the country that I live in, but I also know that that the country is far from perfect, and there's still a lot of things that needs to be done to make it a great country, you know. And so just that mindset, just loving what you do. If you don't love what you do, don't stick with it, man, because it's only gonna cause you self harm. It's gonna cause you misery. Don't do that. At the end of the day, be there for yourself. Make sure you taking care of yourself. If you don't love it, no matter how I don't care how good you may be at it. Don't stick with it if you don't love it. It's like you know.
Yeah, but I'd say like for me, the things that I do, like I'll give like guitar, not guitar. Like how about painting as an example?
Hmm.
Better yet, like painting or acting, right? I could sit down and paint something for the longest, and it'll be really good painting, and I'll look at it and be like, it's not right. I messed this part up. I'll see all the things that are wrong with it and how it could be better and improved and how I didn't do a good enough job at it. It's that feeling of
Yeah.
it is good. I am passionate about doing it and I'm putting my all into doing it. But there's still sometimes with certain work that I do, some parts of me that's like, okay, I'm not satisfied with it. Why is it not? I'm not feeling it. And I think it's really just like a mindset thing for me of just having to go back and like self reflect on, okay, where was I 2 months ago painting this? I've had much improvement and it's good by itself. Like
Hmm.
people have asked me for commissions for my work, and still after that, it's like people want commissions for it. Okay, now it's a work involved into it, and people actually want this stuff, and it's a really grateful, good, not grateful. It's a good opportunity to have for people to offer that, but it's like I don't know. It's challenging for me to um, take a step back from my the stuff that I produce. That's the overall thing I think I could say. I gotta learn to take a step back from the things that I'm doing,
Um.
whether it be acting, painting, or whatever I'm doing, and just acknowledge the work that I am doing is good.
The the way I say that is just the way I say that is look at it like this. You made those achievements, and if you didn't make those achievements, you wouldn't have been able to be, where you are today. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So with me for swimming, I made the achievement of, getting back in the pool. If I'd have never got back in the pool, I could have never been able to say, um, I would have never been able to say that. I would have never been able to say that I overcame my fear. You
Mm-hmm.
know, me, man, I got back in the pool and I was like 40 seconds for a 50 free. At the 50 free, right? And then I broke 50 free and I was at 35 seconds. If I'd have never kept driving forward, I'd have never been able to say, oh, well, I made 35 seconds. And if I'd have never made 35 seconds, I would have never been able to make 32 seconds. If I would have never made 32 seconds, I'd have never been able to make 29 seconds. So all those big moments are leading up to the overall goal. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So one of my biggest accomplishments, and my parents hate it when I say this, but graduating eighth grade, if, because I had been through so much, up to graduating eighth grade, and I look at it like this: it's my biggest accomplishment because if I'd never graduated eighth grade, I'd have never been given the opportunity to graduate high school. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it's that type of mindset, like you gotta, I guess, take a second to look like wow, just take time for those little small achievements. Like with you playing guitar. If you would have never learned how to do this, you'd have never learned how to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't really speak on guitar because I don't know nothing about guitar, but it's those little small achievements. You have to realize that you had to get to this point to be able to get to this next point, right? And you couldn't skip that. I couldn't, you know, be in swimming and be at 29 seconds if I'd have never just got back in the pool. That's a huge accomplishment.
I think
That's
that's
that.
that's a good way of looking at it. Being able to, you would have been able to been here if you didn't look back. That's a great point of
Yeah,
view, and I think maybe I should start implementing that idea. Like maybe write it down in the morning or something.
yeah.
Just having that, I think that's a good quote to look at. Last thing, because I want to get back to it. The last question from earlier. How is your self esteem, and like how do you move with that?
Um, my self esteem has always been fairly, honestly, like kind of low. Honestly, um, I've always put a lot of pressure on myself, and so I've always put a lot of pressure on myself. So yeah, my self esteem is honestly pretty low, and it's something I'm working on. What can I say? Yeah, what can I say? It's just something I'm working on, really.
What things are you doing? Because like I think a lot of people go through the same thing. I know I've given the example of bullet journaling, which if anyone's interested in bullet journaling, I think it's a great way of combining art and writing and being able to put all of your thoughts down and giving an explanation to why you feel a certain way. I'll put a link in the description to what bullet journaling is and maybe some tutorials on different spreads people can do and what would be good ideas for them to get into that. But going off what you were said, Fio, what things do you do to like kind of cope with that? Because I know it's something that everyone kind of goes in and out with and battles with.
Um, I don't really think it's something that I do. I think honestly, I just have incredible coaches, incredible friends, and incredible family who just remind me that they're just constantly saying, "Hey, good job. I'm proud of you." Like I remember at the end of the season, my coach was just telling me like, "I'm very proud of all the accomplishments that you've made in the course of this season." And throughout that whole time, I was very down on myself, saying, "Oh, because I'm still not, at the point where I want to be." But just her telling me like, "Hey, you're not gonna, become an Olympian in 2 months. You're not gonna get from 35 seconds to 20 seconds in the span of 2 months. You still have a lot to work on, but you need to realize that you have made these huge accomplishments." So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just like the thing I just said, just taking time to realize, you know, A, I made this small accomplishment and it set me up to make this next accomplishment. And then also just having that loving family, friends, and coaches just to remind me, you're doing what you need to do to get to where you want to go.
Yeah. But something with that too. Some people, or there's some like points in time in people's lives where they don't really have access to people like that. There
Mhm.
may be like a few occasions, like your coach, but what if there's times where you're just alone by yourself, which there are times in like that in life where you're the only one that has to kind of advocate yourself and find that self-love within of being able to tell yourself, okay, I'm doing okay. I'm able to see the flaws in myself and the good in myself and be able to be confident and acceptable with those things. Being able to have that complete, comfortable environment with yourself. I
Mhm.
think some ways of doing it is like spending more time with yourself or having days to yourself. But it's okay to do that. If it's getting up in the morning and taking a bath and just genuinely have a whole personal day where you take care of your hair, shave, do whatever you have to do. But
Yeah,
just
just
being
take care
able,
of yourself.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
and being able to acknowledge that you're taking this time for yourself and having that self-love. And self-love, that's a physical example, but it also goes mentally and spiritually too. Whether people
Yeah.
are grounded with this example like Christianity, or if they're invested in spiritualism or astrology, whatever goes with what you believe in, having that grounded and also having your mental health in check, whether that's going to therapy, taking the time to write it out, or just doing things physically, taking care of yourself in the morning, all go into having good self-love. You can't have one. You can't take care of yourself physically without taking care of yourself mentally, because it all affects
Definitely.
each other. If I get up and
Mhm.
running every morning, but I hate doing it, that defeats the purpose. If I hate running, even though I'm healthy and taking care of myself, that's not what I do. So it's
Yeah, you
about
gotta love. You gotta love doing what you're doing, though.
mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
Theo,
Yeah.
what were you gonna say?
What was you saying? I was just about to say, you have to love doing what you're doing first. You can't take care of yourself if you don't care about yourself. You have to realize you have to care about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
On that note, Theo, um, if there's anything else you have to add,
No, that's it.
all right, quick, quick and get to the point. Um, Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all in the next episode of the Quirky Dorks podcast. I'm Shane Edwards,
Sophia Wilson.
and we'll see you all.